Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with John and Michelle.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome.
Another beautiful day in Cape Town. We've had a little bit of rain today, so it's lovely.
A few little drizzles.
Yeah, and cool weather to keep us inside today. It was really nice. So tonight we're going to be looking at why we're here. That's a really important subject to have a look at. Why are we here? Well, we're here to chat to you.
Sunday Night Satsang.
Sunday Night Satsang. And hopefully the reason you're here tonight is to do Sunday Night Satsang.
Yeah.
So now you know the answer to that question. You can all go home. Well, I trust you are already home because hopefully you were watching from home. So that's the broad subject which we're going to be looking at tonight. Why are we here? I mean, that's quite a big subject. So we're going to take a look at that. But we're first going to start this evening doing the really important work, which isn't work at all. In fact, it's so easy, and that is to center ourselves in the present moment. And when I say it's easy, I know the mind tells us it's so difficult to be still and to be quiet, but in fact it's our natural state. And it's rather like having a cork and holding a cork underwater. If you let the cork go, well, it goes back to its natural buoyancy, which is the surface. And it actually takes a lot of energy not to be here, not to be present, not to be still. It takes a huge amount. We know, for example, that if you're in your prefrontal cortex of your brain, which is where awareness lies, very little energy has been used by the brain. And yet when we're in our thinking mind, there's a lot of energy being consumed. We get tired, we get exhausted from our thinking mind. So when I say it's easy to be here, it is easy to be here. It's our natural state to be present, to be still, to be quiet. It's our natural state to meditate. So let's start this evening. Yes, well, welcome to all those who have joined while I've been talking on there. Yes,
please would you tell us where you're from? We got Heidi from Surrey in the UK.
Oh, that's
We've got
nice.
Christine
Hello,
from
Heidi.
the UK. Hi. Welcome. We sometimes can read stuff coming up on the screen, but not always.
Not always, yeah.
Talking.
But thank you. Yeah, let us know where you're from.
Yeah.
And we love getting those hearts. Thank you for those hearts. And also what helps spread the light, and I think it's one of our purposes is to spread the light, each one of us. And how can you help? By sharing this. So if you press the share button, if you click the share button now, it goes onto your timeline. And there's a possibility that there are other people who need this light tonight, and they will benefit by it. So if you can just press the like and the share button, it'll help spread the light. So let's start this evening by centering ourselves into the only time and place that really exists in reality, and that's the present moment. So meditation is really about giving up our story in our head for a brief moment and becoming centered in the space between our thoughts. That's what meditation is. No mind, just quietness, stillness. And in that space between our thoughts, our bodies get nourished, the brain gets nourished, our soul gets nourished, our life gets nourished. We rewire our brain. So there's so many physiological and psychological benefits to occupying this quiet space between our thoughts. So we start this evening by gently closing our eyes and just bringing our awareness from all other times and all other places and becoming fully focused in the here and now. And our body is always in the here and now. It's only our thoughts, our mind that goes places. So one of the major portals and tools that we can use to enter the space of quietness which meditation provides for us is the body awareness, to become aware of our bodies. And I know for many people they think enlightenment is escaping the body. I don't know where you think you're going to go, but enlightenment isn't hovering around in the top corner of the room looking down on your body. Enlightenment is through the body. It's sinking deeper into presence, and your body is in the present moment. So let's just sink down deeper, become aware of the chair you're sitting on, become aware of the sensations under your bum. Suddenly you notice, oh yes, I have a chair, and I can feel the sensation under my bum. If you have a backrest, just lean back further into the backrest and feel the support on your back. To be supported by the chair is wonderful. Feel your feet where they're resting. If they're resting on the floor, just connect with Mother Earth. Feel where your hands are resting. Not clasped in any way, but open. Open, allowing, relaxed. Just feeling this moment exactly as it is. Becoming aware of the temperature of the room on your cheeks. Now if you feel any uncomfortable sensations in your body, maybe a stiff neck or tight shoulders or sore knee, just allow them to be here for a moment. Just for a moment or two, just allow what is to be. If there are any uncomfortable noises in your environment, just allow them to be. If there are any thoughts that arise in your awareness, any worries, just allow them to be also. One of the great ways of relaxing your thoughts is to picture your mind as a beautiful sky, and on a summer's day, and across the sky there are a few fluffy clouds. These clouds are your thoughts, and they come and they drift across and they go. So we don't get attached to the clouds, we don't get attached to our thoughts. We just allow them to drift by. And now we're going to use the portal of the breath to anchor us even further into presence. It's the breath of life. So take a deep breath in, blowing your tummy up like a big ball, big, 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 and then a long, long out breath. Just let it all go, let it all go, let it all go. Now if you just notice that when we breathe from our tummy, we relax our shoulders. As against stressful breathing, when you're stressed and you breathe, you actually tighten your shoulders, you raise your shoulders. This is the opposite to that. This is the relaxing tummy breathing. So take another deep breath in, blowing your tummy up like a big ball, drawing the air right the way down, which is very healthy, into your body. And then a beautiful releasing slow breath out, making the out breath twice as important as the in breath. Let's take a third very deep breath in, blowing your tummy out, and this time just imagine it going right down to your toes, pulling it all the way in, filling your whole body up, and then that beautiful, long, relaxing, surrendering breath out. Just release it and let it go. And now just allow life to breathe you. And as you do that, as you hand over the breathing to life, this intelligence that beats your heart and digests your food, just notice how much calmer you become as you release, as you surrender, as you allow life to do the most important function that has to be done as a human being, and that is to breathe. This is a function that enables us to be here, to be human, the breath. So let's just hand this function over to life. Let's surrender completely to this intelligence of life. Maintaining awareness of the chair we're sitting on, the feet on the floor, the relaxed hands, the temperature of the room on our cheeks, and this beautiful rhythmic flow of the breath. Noticing also that slight pause between the in-breath and the out-breath, and the out-breath and the in-breath, sinking down further into the body, into the present moment. Just relaxing every part of the body, releasing everything that doesn't serve us in this moment, allowing what is to be, allowing whatever is just to be as it is. bring your awareness to the faculty of hearing. Become aware of any sounds you can hear, without labeling or judging. Just listen. And as you listen, notice how quiet your mind becomes. As you truly listen, listen to the furthest, faintest sound you can. And notice that it is awareness that listens, and awareness is quiet and still. See if you can become so still that you can hear the beating of your own heart in your eardrums right now. For every time your heart beats, it pushes a pressure wave through your eardrums. Listen and see if you can pick that up right now. And notice once again how quiet you have to be to truly listen. And in this quietness, we become more of an open channel for this intelligence called life to move through us, to guide our body's functions in a more harmonious way. We become more intelligent, and we become way more peaceful, more open, and more loving. Feel that love that's in this moment, here and now. This energy of life which loves you, which supports you. Feel it. As you continue to listen to the beating of your heart in your eardrums. You might like to substitute the word life for presence. Feel the presence within you now. Feel it holding you in its loving embrace. This is so beautiful, so peaceful, so calm. This is your true state. When you let go, this is the true state that comes up into your awareness. It's your natural buoyancy. It's called being, and it's beautiful. Now gently take another deep breath in, blowing the tummy up like a big ball, bigger and bigger and bigger. And then that lovely, relaxing, surrendering breath out. Just let it go. Take another very deep breath in, right down to your toes and up to the top of your head, filling your body up like a big ball. And then sigh it all out. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let everything go. And then gently, whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes. And as you open your eyes, just see how your body feels right now. How does your body feel? You might like to type out how you feel in the comment box. Let us know how you feel. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for joining Sunday Satsang. We really love being here with you and sharing the light.
Thanks, John. That was beautiful. Very gentle, which is kind of the energy of this week, really.
So what do the stars have to say?
So we are, welcome everybody. We are headed towards our new moon on Saturday, so it's still a little while to go. But as we move towards that, we've got a lot of gentle energy around, actually.
Oh, that's a relief.
Yeah, so new moon is in Pisces, which means the sun and the moon are both together in Pisces. But not only that, there's more. It's like a very mock ad. we've got Neptune and Venus also in Pisces. And Venus is the planet of love. Neptune is the planet of divinity, spirituality, connection. And they're all together in this beautiful sea of Pisces energy. So it can be very, it's really Pisces season, which is where the sun goes through Pisces every year, is always about releasing the year. It's releasing all those things that we're hanging on to, that we don't need. So it's a really good week to detox, to maybe clear out body-wise, home-wise. Look at your emotions, look at your thoughts. Just pause. So I would say this is a really, really good week to pause. Obviously we have busy lives and we've got stuff to do, but we can always connect with that stillness inside, underneath the surface, which is what we've just done now. And if you take time to pause during your day, even especially if you're busy, you'll find that there's always that peace that is there. It's like it's a sea of peace underneath the busyness. Always, it's always there. It never goes anywhere. We just need to connect to it or tune into it. So this week's really about tuning into that frequency. And I love the energy of this week because it's Pisces is it's imaginative, it's creative, it's gentle, and it's very connective. So we're able to actually connect on a deeper level with those we love because Venus is the planet of love. Venus is in Pisces, which is about being compassionate, seeing the love inside each other, not judging, being inclusive, being accepting, allowing. Those are all words associated with it. Surrendering that which we don't need, surrendering to this moment, accepting this moment. So all words associated with this week are acceptance, surrender, oneness, gentleness, compassion, being here rather than doing. So it's very clearly this is the week to do that because after the new moon, we go up to the next full moon and then we're into Aries season, which is a whole new fiery energy starting another astrological year. So if you're wanting to just rest at the moment, that's good. You need to rest. You need to just be and have pauses in your doingness as opposed to the other way around. And yeah, I think that's about it. So there's not a lot of earth around, so astrologically or energetically. So just remembering to pause and to ground ourselves, to actually get outside if we can, to get our fingers into something, to get our hands into something. If you do art, it's a really good time to do art, to make art, to create art, because art connects us to all that is. That's what it does. And it sometimes, very often, quietens the mind. And that brings us into presence and aligns us with the divine, which is what it's all about. So that's the week. So we can chat more about that. But that's the underlying energy. I think you can feel it. I definitely felt it in your check-in tonight. There's a gentleness that's kind of permeating the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh.
A nice time to recuperate some of the hecticness from the last 12 months or so.
It's been a year.
Yeah,
think about a year ago.
Yeah, it's been very hectic.
Everything's changed and it's been quite something for a lot of people. For all of us. All of us have experienced it on some level. And it's been quite tiring. So it's to just kind of check in, almost use this last few weeks of this season to check in with yourself and say, where have I been? Where am I? Where was I last year? Where am I now? Where's my connection? How are my relationships? How's my relationship with myself? How's my relationship with my loved ones? Not to be judgmental, just to notice so that you can actually choose to let go of what you don't want to carry into next year. So this new moon that's coming up on Saturday is a very good time to lay the groundwork to plant seeds for what you want to release and let go of, so that you can actually clear that ground, so that you can plant seeds when Aries season comes in.
Yeah, and preparing the ground, that's a good way of looking at this week ahead, preparing the ground, in that it's not a time for planting, not a time for doing anything, but planting or preparing the ground And what is the ground that we would like to give our attention to and like to nourish? And it's the ground of peace. Think about that. It's the ground of stillness. And you mentioned earlier that peace is always here. And peace is always underlying all the calamities that the world out there gives us. And underlying all noise is stillness. If it wasn't for the stillness, you couldn't hear anything. Because sound comes out of stillness and goes back into stillness. But stillness is always there. Peace is always there. And we can use this week coming up now to actually focus more of our attention on what lies underneath the form or the situations or the objects or the challenges of our lives. What lies beneath that, and what lies beneath each and every moment is quietness, is stillness, is peace. And if you see that peace, if you're able to perceive the stillness and the peace underneath all of the comings and goings of the worlds of form, you change your whole heart rhythm.
Everything.
You go from incoherent to coherence.
Yeah.
And when your heart is coherent, everything changes. Your body is sympathetic and parasympathetic. Nervous system goes into balance. Your endocrine system goes into balance. And as your body goes into balance, so the field of energy around you becomes more balanced. Your relationships become more balanced. You become more intelligent. You become more effective in whatever you're doing. So that's a really good reason this week to look for the peace underlying each and every moment, the circumstance of each and every moment.
Yeah, and just clear the field. See it as if you're clearing a field. And you're just noticing, oh yeah, there's that. I can take that out. I don't need that. And underneath there's that river or that ocean of peace. And we forget that in our busyness. We forget that that's there, and we get overwhelmed. And so I think one of the most useful things, and we've spoken about it before, but just a reminder, is just to pause during your day. Is especially when you're busy. You know, we very often say, "No, I haven't got time to pause." That's when you have got time to pause.
Yeah.
That's when you need to pause. So often we have people on our courses and people that do work with us that say, "No, I haven't got the time. I'm too stressed." That's when you need to do it. That's when you need to meditate. That's when you need to, if you can't meditate, just pause. So between different actions, pause. As you feel something coming up for you, whether it's a really scary thought or a very difficult emotion, just pause. When you feel you're overwhelmed, pause. Just see how that works, because it really does work in bringing you back. Because life will, the circumstances for life will always pull you away from that.
Yeah.
And tell you that you shouldn't be pausing, you should be doing.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be being, you should be doing. That's the mind. So it's just to notice it. It's very normal. That's what happens to everybody. But it's to notice that we have a choice not to always follow it and not to always believe it. In fact, it's quite a good idea not to believe your mind a lot of the time.
Yeah. Because the mind tells you that you're a human doing. The mind only sees you as valuable when you're doing. And your true essence, your true value comes from your being. Don't ask the mind to validate that, because it won't. And it's in the pausing that we reconnect with being. And when your doing comes out of that being, rather than a need to get somewhere or to do something, when your doing comes from that place of stillness, which can occur within you in a few seconds of pausing and taking a breath, a conscious breath, as we did in the opening meditation, focusing on the in-breath, but more importantly, the letting go of the out-breath. When our doing arises from that being space, it'll be far more effective. You will find that you're far more productive without the rush, without the stress, without the worry, without the anxiety. So, you have a much better experience of your day, which is the most important thing, is the experience you have in the day. But secondly, you actually get more done. And you know, the outcome of what you're doing is far more beneficial for you and for the world around you when you come from being. So that's the power of the pause that Michelle was saying, because it brings you into that alignment with life, into presence, into beingness. So,
because most of the time, a lot of us have lived our lives, and this is leading into our subject tonight. where it's about the next thing. And if you pause, you'll notice that, you know, I need to wash the dishes so that I can do the next thing. And then I need to quickly write this down so that I can do the next thing. And I'll brush my teeth, but I'm thinking about the next thing, as opposed to just being here now. And so we're constantly trying to move out of the very place that feeds us and that nurtures us and nourishes our soil. So it's just to see that, and by pausing, you take yourself back into that place. And so when you are ready to do the next action, you're actually perfectly fine to do it. You're not spinning out, trying to still finish that while you're actually heading towards that. And I find that the more you slow down, the more you see that, the tendency to always be looking for the next thing. And I think in the digital age that we live in, everything is there like that. We don't wait anymore. You know, we used to wait for movies to come out, and we used to wait for things to happen. We don't wait anymore. It's all there at the snap of a finger. You know, you see little kids even on telephones scrolling through, and it's immediate satisfaction. I want it now. So it's just to actually notice that the ground that we find that peace in is here now. And so to connect to who we really are, it's to actually connect to that place. And that brings us into, why are we here?
So now the mind will say,
find
well,
asking,
we're here to get more.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why, some of you came on the Satsang, is to get more information. No, that's not why we're here. We're not on earth to get more. That more is not the reason we come to earth.
That's what we socialized to believe.
It is.
You must do that so that you can get that, and then you'll be happy.
Yeah, when you get more.
So that's why you're here.
Yeah. More.
And you're here to have this purpose, this grand purpose that you're going to fulfill, and then you'll be happy.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, you get to a point where you sort of start to question that, because it's the endless striving for something else.
Yeah.
So is that what you're here for?
Yeah. So this is a very deep question that we're looking. Why are we here this time on earth?
Yeah.
You know,
why are we here generally, and why are we here now?
Yeah. So it's a deep question, and I'm going to suggest maybe we can look at it at two different levels. The first level is why are we here from a personal point of view? What do we come here for? And secondly, why are we here for a collective reason? Is there a collective reason for us being here? And I'm going to suggest that at a personal level, and this applies to all of us, we're here really to liberate our souls. Now, I thought the soul was the part of me that's enlightened. Well, if you attended last week's Satsang, we spoke about the difference between mind, body, soul, spirit. So we are pure, non-local spirit, perfect in every way, inhabiting a soul, inhabiting a mind, inhabiting a body, inhabiting an ego. But we've come to earth, and the purpose for everyone is the same, to liberate our soul. Now, the soul is a collection of past. It's a collection of unresolved mental vibrations of energy that we carry with us lifetime after lifetime. And there was a time of accumulating more information, more experience, moving away. And now we're on the journey back again. We're on the journey of releasing all of those attachments. So we went shopping for experience, and we've had maybe, who knows, millions and millions of years of filling our trolley full of experiences. We've got a lot of them now, but it's weighing us down. And now it's freedom we want. Think about that. Is freedom not something your heart yearns for? So this return journey which we are now embarking on is a journey of freedom, of liberation. Liberation from what? From mind, from attachment, from preferences, from judgments, from pain, from suffering. That's our journey now, the journey of liberation. So at the one level, we're here to liberate our souls. And the planet Earth is such a heavy vibration of contrast that is easier to do that liberation work here than on the higher planes.
Yeah, and it's also, I see it also as we're here to embody being human, but knowing that we're more than that. And to take away the barriers and the boundaries that prevent us from knowing who we really are. So we come down and we inhabit a body, but we're much more than that. Yeah. And so it's to experience this journey fully, completely, because this is a really interesting place to be, and apparently there's a waiting list to get in here. So this is the place that we learn. This is the place we grow, because we feel. We have emotion. We feel. We have feelings. We have physical feelings. We have emotions that come up. And this is the place where we feel it. So this is the place where we can release and liberate ourselves, I believe, quicker, because we're actually here in the nitty-gritty of it. And none of us are here by accident, which is what I see daily when I do charts for people. There's no accidents. We're here by design. We chose it. So for me, it's a kind of a combination. It's absolutely what John says, to liberate our souls, to evolve, to actually evolve, which means to get through, to clear those things that we don't need anymore. Those fears, to really look at them and to say, well, do I need this anymore? Can I let it go? So that's to liberate ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah.
To
so that's at the
bring us
level
back to love.
At the level of individuality is to liberate our souls from the mind, which is the only thing that blocks us from who we really are, which is love, which is the divine, the spark of the divine. And it's interesting what you said there with the word interesting, because there's a Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. And I think we're going through that at the moment. The Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. These are definitely interesting times. And it might seem that it's almost very dark, very challenging times. But in fact, the major reason we're here on earth at this time, the second reason as above the individual reason, is to anchor the light, to be the conduit for light to flow into this plane. And yes, as much as there is darkness on planet Earth, and a lot is being revealed, and a lot more will be revealed this year, so fasten your seatbelts. If you think we lived in interesting times last year, I think we're going to even live in more interesting times this year. And it's to know that the real reason that we collectively came to Earth at this time is to be conduits for the light. So you can think of yourself almost as an antenna. Eckhart Tolle calls it frequency holders. So we're here to hold a frequency of vibration. So as a soul, or as ourselves experiencing ourselves through the soul, the body, and the mind, we're here to, as you said, we're here to evolve. We're here to evolve consciousness. And consciousness is always expanding and growing out of the lower regions up to the upper regions. So we're here to anchor the new consciousness, the higher consciousness, in this vibration of frequency. At the moment it's the fourth dimension, but the fifth dimension is being born. And how do we do that? We don't do that by going into fear and anxiety. This is a really important part of tonight's talk. We don't raise consciousness by buying into the consciousness of separation, of fear, of vulnerability, of, oh, my dear, am I going to lose my life in this pandemic? That is all fear-based. You can't lose what you are. You are life. You can't lose your life because you are that life. Your body comes and your body goes. But if you fear that, you're part of the lower echelons of consciousness, of vibration. So it's really important for us, and I really want to emphasize this, it's really important for us to know who we really are, and to know that we are not the body, we're not the mind, we're not even the soul. We're that beautiful spark of the divine, which is called Spirit, the Holy Spirit. And by pausing, which is what Michelle spoke about earlier, we're pausing in one conscious breath, we go back into alignment with the divine, with our true being. We are being. Being and spirit are two words that mean the same thing. We're here to be conduits for higher consciousness to come into this dimension. And the way we do that is not by doing it all, but it's by being, by emptying ourselves, by pausing, by what's called meditation. Meditation means just to enter the space between our thoughts, just to connect back with our true beingness. That's the real reason we're here on earth at the moment, because there's only a few of us in the Satsang tonight. And the reason you're here is because your consciousness has brought you here, because it knows that you are ready to hear this teaching. And the masses, maybe they're not ready yet to hear this teaching. So there's a great responsibility on us to do this work that we're speaking about here tonight.
Yeah, and to really not go into victim mode. I think that's a big thing, especially at this point. Is, why is this happening? Why is it happening to me? Whatever is happening, as opposed to saying, okay, what am I here for? It's a very good question to ask. Who am I? Number one, and what am I here for? And if you see that you're part of the tapestry of life, and that you're not separate and it's not an accident, and that you are here for a reason, then what's the reason? And that could mean that you just need to speak to this person in this moment, because that person really needs you just to hold energy for them, or to send them a message. It doesn't have to be that you have to go on Facebook Live. It can be however you give your energy. How do you serve? What acts of service can you do on any given day? And that could just be a message to somebody to say, how are you doing? There's a lot of people going through this on their own. They don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have anybody to bounce ideas off, tell them what they're worried about. And they just need somebody. So you can be that person, And it doesn't have to be this great big purpose, this purpose in bright shining neon lights.
In doing this.
It's in this moment. What can I do? How can I serve in this moment? How can I be a light? Like, what if we were all just street lamps, in our street?
Yeah.
How can I be a street lamp for the people in my life?
Yeah.
That's all. It's not more than that. That's the frequency holder. When somebody's having a meltdown, to actually just be the space for that person, to be 100% who they are. Not to judge them, not to tell them that they're wrong, or that they mustn't be scared, or mustn't be anxious, or really should, they really should lift their vibration. That's not going to help. At that moment, all you need to do is just be there for them while they're having the meltdown. Let them have the meltdown. And they'll move through the meltdown, as opposed to feeling more awful and pushing it underneath the surface and then adding another layer of stuff that they have to clear. So I think everybody can do that. Every single one of us can be that light. And that's what's needed at this moment. So I believe that's what we're here for. Why are we here? For that. And some of us have been in training since the word go for this moment, where the world is in crisis and it needs light. We have a lot of light coming in, more than we've apparently ever had, in terms of photon belts and stuff. But in terms of our consciousness, what we've been speaking about for over the last year, and especially over the last few months, is this expansion in our consciousness. And we are realizing how incredibly powerful each and every one of us are, just by your thoughts. So if we are buying in on the storylines, if we're spending all day worrying about what could happen in the future, we are turning down our frequency. We're actually not holding light, because we're joining the fear, we're joining the darkness. So it's a fine line, because it means that we need to be aware of what's going on, but not live there. So it's almost like you're looking through it, as if it's here, but it's an illusion. You're looking through it, through to something that you would like to see. So a world which is full of love and unity and equality. That's more helpful than sitting thinking about this hideous world that might happen or might not. So it's each of us holding that space.
And that's quite important, because as we enter into that space, it's a space which we experienced in the opening meditation. It's a space of listening. And so when someone is going through a crisis, we don't necessarily have to give them advice, but we can hold that space for them. But paradoxically, as we hold that space, and even as we pause in our own lives, and maybe we're going to a meeting and we just pause before we go into that meeting, we also in that space achieving our soul purpose. And the soul purpose is to be cleansed, to be clear, to be brought back to stillness, to love. So even as we pause and we go into that stillness, we are clearing away our own unconscious patterns that have been maybe blocking us from the higher levels of consciousness. And in doing that, in that moment, we also the conduit for higher consciousness to come through into this planet. So we are those antennas, those portals for love to flow more directly into the earth. There are many beings, many frequency holders surrounding the earth at this time, and we are the conduits for that to come through, not through our minds, not through our doingness, but through our stillness, through our beingness. So the more we can spend and invest a certain amount of our time during the day, and informal meditation is really great to start the day with that, but during the day to pause, to go into that stillness, and to invite presence into our awareness, we become part of the solution, the healing of planet Earth, the healing of our individual souls, but the healing of the group soul as well for planet Earth. And we have so much power within us it's not the power that forces change. It's the power that allows this love, this stillness, this beauty into the world. And that really is the immense power that we have. It's the power of the heart.
Yeah, and I think absolutely, and I think it's also gone beyond. It's not just about our own ego needs at this point. If we look at the second part of the thing that John said, why are we here? It's not to have our ego needs met, which is not happening for many people, clearly. But it's not about that, because we are not alone and we are connected to all that is. So it's really about seeing that we aren't separate and that this isn't just about us. So this is about taking ourselves into a situation where our frequency is raised, and then that ripples out into the world, to other people's lives, to the planet, because we're all connected. Yeah.
And even coming together here on a Sunday night and sharing in the Satsang energy, we are at the moment opening a portal for love and for light and for peace to flow into this dimension. And so, if I can ask you to click the like button and the share button really importantly, because what it does, it allows this light to go out onto your timeline for this portal of teaching, of consciousness, to help those around us that haven't been normally exposed to this type of awareness or this type of teaching. It brings them hopefully also into the light, and the light spreads exponentially as you share this with your friends, with your family. Now, we're not here to convince anyone that our beliefs are the right beliefs. No belief is right or wrong. They're just a belief. They're just like a map. And no map is right or wrong. A map just doesn't take you where you want to go. And if freedom is what you really want, if peace is what you really value, then this roadmap that we're laying out here of presence, making the present moment more important to you than any story going on in your head, that will help you realize that goal within your own lifetime, that goal of peace and presence. And but we're not here to convince anyone, and you're not here to convince anyone either. That's not our goal. Our goal is to be the space. And at this time we have a lot of divergent beliefs about what's going on. Some people believe that there's a terrible virus out there that's killing everyone, and other people say no, but that's not really true. And so I can see that there are a lot of splits, and even in families,
huge splits.
A lot of conflict. No, my view of it is right. No, my view is right. Let go of the need to be right. Become the listener. Hold that space. Hold that space.
Yeah, and it's not about trying to convince somebody that you're right. It's okay to speak your truth, to actually say, this is what I believe, and you're welcome to your belief. That's what you believe. That's fine. It's not our role to change and to persuade other people to believe what we believe. And in doing that, you're actually, I believe, helping more than if you take somebody on who has a very different belief to you. And that, I mean, there are literally families splitting up and friends splitting up because of these divergent beliefs all over the planet. Huge fallouts amongst people because you can't come to a consensus. So a very good friend of mine, her daughter has a different belief system to her. And, I said, well, how did you navigate it? And she said, fortunately, they're both conscious. And she said, we agreed to disagree. We agreed that we're just going to have differing beliefs on this. And that's the way it's going to be. So sometimes it's really just holding that space, isn't it?
Holding the space. That's really, really important. Becoming the space. That lovely Rumi poem, may I be the hole in the flute for the Christ breath to blow through. To become that emptiness, and allow life to move through us. And, the one thing to absolutely know for sure is this too will pass. This too will pass. It will pass. As everything has. And we're going through, this is almost like a end of year exams, if you want to think it this way. You've done a lot of work, and now we have the exam time. Now, exam times are not easy. They create a lot of stress within people, exam times. And that's what we're going through as a species. In our evolutionary process, we're going through a time of trial. And now is the time to choose very wisely, whether we choose the maps of fear or the map of love. And that's really the choice that we get to make. The map of fear wants to shut itself down, wants to protect itself, secure its future. The map of love is opening, trusting life in this moment. It's got nothing to do with future. It's trusting life in this moment. And that's really the graduation ceremony is, are we going to choose fear or are we choosing love? And that really is a very, very important choice to make. It's our soul purpose, S-O-U-L and S-O-L-E, soul purpose. I believe the successful choice, the one that will lead us into peace, into stillness, into love, into joy, into bliss, is the love choice. The fear, promises you everything. Get the vaccine and then you'll be safe. That's what fear says. And fear promises you everything and delivers you nothing. Love, on the other hand, promises you nothing and delivers you everything. So that's, I think, if you want to look at it that way, that we have these two baskets, love and fear. And the one that obviously expands in our life is the one that we feed. So if we feed fear and anxiety, well, that will obviously grow and manifest in circumstances in the future for us to balance. And if we feed the one of love, then we become an instrument for peace. And that's why we're here on earth at this time, is to be that instrument of peace for the whole of mankind. Yes, for yourself, your own soul journey, to clear away any unbalanced karmic patterns which you may have. But it's really to be the instrument for peace. And as you allow that into your own life, you will clear any karmic imbalances that you have in your own life. And you also clear it for the whole planet, the planet as a whole.
And I think it's just in every moment, just before we close, it's in every moment to just see, where am I right now? What am I thinking? And if I'm thinking about fearful stuff in the future, I have a choice to bring myself back. So just check in with yourself, because it's so easy to get spun out and then to be told something and read something and watch something that spins you out even more. So it's just to be aware of, you always have a choice. You have a choice to turn the thing off, whatever it is, and to just bring yourself back. And to just ask yourself, where are my thoughts? Have my thoughts gone into the future, into fearful situations that might or might not happen? And is that helping? Is that actually achieving anything? And most of the time it isn't. So bring it back. If you have to make a decision, then you're going to make the decision better from a place of presence than you are definitely from a place of fear. Because we don't make good decisions when we're fearful. It's back against the wall kind of stuff. That's not the way to make decisions. So we make them better when we're actually centered and peaceful. Yeah.
No, it does.
Yeah.
So if you can,
role.
our soul's journey is a journey to freedom. That's really what it's all about. Freedom for us as an individual, but freedom also for us as a species. We've encased ourselves in a matrix of lower dimensional frequencies, and now's the time to graduate, to evolve to higher frequencies. And we have a course starting on the 22nd of this month, 22nd of March, and it's called Journey to Freedom. It's an online course, 13 weeks, and this is now number 7 that we're doing. And we've had very positive feedback from the participants of the other courses. Really, really amazing transformations have taken place in people's lives. So if you would like, if your soul yearns for freedom, if you would like more freedom in your life, in your awareness, then join us. The first week is absolutely free, and it's a life vision week. So we look at what is the vision for your life, and we look at that, and that's a very powerful week, life vision week, and it's completely free, no obligation. You don't have to enter your credit card details or anything like that. You just to sign up and join us for the week, and if you want to carry on doing the remainder of the course, the other following 12 weeks, then you can join for that as well. But join us at least for the life vision week. Which starts on the 22nd, and we start with a live Zoom call, and then that's a Thursday night, isn't it? And then on the Friday we release your full week's work, which is yours forever. That week's work, even if you don't join the course, you get that full week's work for as long as the internet is up, so you can join us there. But thank you. Yeah. Do you want to lead us with a lovely peaceful meditation to lead us into the week ahead?
Yes.
And then when we've done that, we'll draw an affirmation card for the week ahead. And affirmations are designed to dissolve the unconscious patterns in our mind, to rewire the brain, and to allow us to be more pure conduits for this love and this peace and this joy and this bliss to flow through us into the world.
Thanks, John. Okay. All right, well, you're probably already in a quite a peaceful place, so let's just go back into a little bit more peace and feel that feeling. So just taking a beautiful, beautiful breath in, this breath of life that we just take for granted, but that's there all the time. So bringing the breath in through your belly, so it's really, really deep, and then allowing that breath to come all the way up into your chest, and then on the out breath, releasing and softening your body into your support wherever you're sitting or lying down. And another beautiful deep belly breath in, all the way up to your chest, all the way up to the top of your lungs. And then sigh it all out. Just sigh it out. You might even want to make a sound. And as you sigh, just let all the tension that you might be holding just melt away. And now just connect with your breath. Just watching it. Just observing it flowing in and out. Consciously intending to relax with each out breath. But other than that, just breathing in and out. That's it. So if you can notice the sound of your breath. Listen even more carefully. See if you can notice the sound of your own heart beating. Feel this rhythm, this heart that beats inside you, has done so ever since your first breath and before. This beautiful rhythm that unites you with all that is, with life. animates your body. Allow yourself to just be here, now, in your body, completely here. If anything comes into your awareness, like a thought or concern or anxiety, just accept it, acknowledge it, and then just let it pass by without attaching to any story about it. And just bring yourself back to this breath. In this moment. Allow this peace, this gentle peace that is your essence, to just be here. Allow yourself to just drift in this peace. A little bit like you were on this beautiful, calm lake, floating, looking up into the starry sky above you, completely supported by the water beneath you, completely connected to the midnight blue sky, with all the twinkling stars and all the universes, the infinity of all that is. Supported by the ocean of life, the water of life, Mother Earth, Father Sky. You being the conduit, just by your beingness, not by anything you might have to do. Feel the relief in the knowledge that this is how simple it is to return to your true state, to your true beingness, to your true divinity. Bringing your attention to your breath gently. Just notice the breath coming in and out of your nostrils. And just stay in this peaceful space. And hopefully that'll carry you into a nice peaceful night's sleep, which will leave you revitalized and fresh for the beautiful week ahead. And if you like, you can gently open your eyes when you're ready.
That's beautiful. That's lovely. I guess a lot of you won't be opening your eyes, you'll be snoozing wherever you are. That was really beautiful. Wasn't that lovely?
Nearly put myself to sleep.
Yeah,
there.
wasn't that lovely? Well, we love getting your comments. So if you've enjoyed tonight, please send us a little comment, a message. And once again, I'm going to ask you to help share the light by pressing the share button, because it really helps get the video out. You know, Facebook restrict the flow of information, and by sharing it, you actually do change the what is it called? Algorithms. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you for being here tonight, and let's just choose a. Is it my turn to choose tonight?
I think so.
No, I think I chose last time.
All right.
It's your turn. We're going to choose from one of these affirmation cards here. Yeah, I chose last week.
Ah, that's nice. It says, I live my life as if there is no next moment. That's what we were talking about. Therefore, I find fulfillment now.
Isn't that lovely? Because the mind is always looking for fulfillment in a future.
Yeah.
I live my life as if there's no next moment. Therefore, I find fulfillment now. In other words, I give up the need for more. That's a beautiful card. I'll photograph it and put it up on the Facebook page in a few moments. Thank you for being with us tonight, and use this affirmation to help guide you and to clear your mind in the week ahead. And we look forward to meeting up with you again next Sunday evening for Sunday Satsang with John and Michelle.
Thanks, everybody.
And you can visit our website, which is journeysofawakening.com. Journeysofawakening.com, and all our other material is there as well. Thank you.
Night, everybody.
Lots of love.
Sleep tight.
Lots of love. Blessings. Blessings.